So you work for a company and are tasked with evaluating a proposed venture. So you're a businessman or woman, business person. The venture stands to make a profit of $10,000 with a probability of 4 out of 20, to make a profit of $5,200 with a probability of 8 out of 20, to break even with a probability of 1 out of 4, and to lose $5,000 with a probability of 3 out of 20. So maybe you're not dealing with a super huge company, it's pretty small, or maybe this is a daily profit or loss. The expected profit in dollars is what? And then would you recommend this venture? Okay, so let's approach this like we should any problem like this. We're looking and we're seeing values and we're seeing probabilities. So notice that these are dollars, so there could be decimals, but in this case there are discrete options, right? You either get 10,000, get 5,200, you get nothing, or you lose 5,000. So there are 4 discrete options. That means we know we're dealing with a discrete probability distribution, and we know the probabilities of each of them. So we should approach this by making ourselves a probability distribution. So we have x, and we have the probability of each x. Okay, so the first option is that you make $10,000. And they said the probability was 4 out of 20. The other is that you make 5,200, and they said that was 8 out of 20. The next is that you break even, which means you make 0, and that's 1 out of 4. And then the next is that you lose 5,000, so negative 5,000, and that's 3 out of 20. And these should all, if you added these fractions up, they should equal 1, right? Because remember, that's the rule. So if maybe a question was, is this a good or is this a true probability distribution? If these didn't equal to 1, well then it would mean there was some other option that they were missing. Okay, so we want to check that it's equal to 1. But I already checked that, so it is equal to 1. So the expected profit in dollars. So we want expected profit. So remember, whenever you're asked for the expected value, what that means is that you're asked for mean. So the mean of this probability distribution. Okay, so we know that we're just going to be adding up, we're going to be multiplying the x by its probability, and then we're going to add up each of those products. Okay, so we're going to go to our list. See if I can't see everything. So we have stat, enter. I'm going to clear these lists. Okay, so we have 10,000. We have 5,200, 0, or negative 5,000. Okay, so we've got one list that has all of our options. So I'll just mark that this is in list 1, and I'm going to put this in list 2. So in list 2, I'm going to write out the probabilities. So remember, I can put the fraction in and it'll calculate the decimal. So I have 4 out of 20, which was 0.2, 8 out of 20, 1 out of 4, and 3 out of 20. Perfect, and I can confirm that that does in fact equal 1. Okay, so now I know that my equation for the mean is just the sum of each of the x's times the probability. So I'm just going to put that equation into list 3. So the x's are in list 1, so second list 1 times list 2, which is where my probabilities are. There we go. I just have to quit out of here. Sorry, let me put that in one more time. I think I just deleted something. Okay, so I'm going to quit out of here and then say second list, math, sum it up. So I'm going to sum up list 3, which is where my products are, 3,330. So we can expect to make 3,330. Okay, would you recommend this venture? So right off the bat, yeah, probably, but you really shouldn't recommend it until you've looked at the standard deviation. Because what if, okay, on average you would make 3,330, but you have a huge standard deviation, which means you could lose so much that you bankrupt the whole company, right? So you don't want to just give the mean when you're asked, what do you think about this? You want to give the mean and the standard deviation. Okay, so at this point you should know how to calculate a standard deviation. So we're just going to use our 1var stats. So we're going to say stat, calc, 1var stats. We're going to tell it the list we have our x's in, comma, the list we have our proportions in, enter, and we see that the mean is 3,330, and the standard deviation is 4,845. So we usually expect to be at the mean plus or minus the standard deviation. So I think that if we lost the mean minus 4,440, so if we lost like $1,000, we're probably not going to bankrupt the company. So I would say, yeah, I would recommend this venture because on average, we'd make profit, and the standard deviation isn't so big that if we did lose, we'd lose so much. Okay? Well, hopefully that made sense. If not, watch it again. Make sure to do the practice problems, and I will see you for the next